folks, my name is Jürgen, aka Not I'm Proud of It, and Destiny has brought you to my channel today to talk about the supply of Gothic. Yes, I want to talk about that a little bit, because previously in or during sorcery releases, sometimes the supply, especially over here in Europe, was pretty low. And I asked around, so I double checked if the situation would be different for Gothic. Alpha supply wasn't there, of course, anyways, because we had the Kickstarter, so my alpha supply was good. As I backed the Kickstarter, beta supply in the first wave was horrible, the second wave was non-existent in Europe, the third wave was kind of okay, and now it seems to be available. So it found its way over here. And I know for you guys in the US it's a little different because of Team Covenant, but over here in Europe it was pretty hard to get boxes. I saw a positive trend in Arthurian Legends, but then, of course, in Essen it was readily available during the world premiere, during the launch of Arthurian Legends, and then, of course, afterwards it was readily available as well. And that, of course, led to the conversation and the discussion if Arthurian Legends is actually overprinted or if there's too much. Personally, I don't know if it's overprinted or not, and I think a good box of Arthurian Legends. I did a couple of drafts now with Arthurian Legends boxes. Those draft experiences were pretty nice, I have to say. So that was actually very cool. I don't know if it was overprinted, but I tend to think it is overprinted because it's so readily available for a reasonable price. At a certain point, once it will not be available anymore, then of course the prices will probably go up. Gothic, from what I heard, from what I've heard, from what I have heard, the supply initially, and take that with a grain of salt, because even if the supply, we saw this with beta, at launch, first wave, is not as we would want it to be, they will reprint it, 100%. The only thing they will probably not reprint is the Dragon Lord box, at least I don't expect them to. But for the rest, I think everything else is fair game now. And we saw that. So in that sense, that's a whole different discussion, because I'm not sure how collectible sorcery is anymore. I need to make a video about that, and I don't want to be negative about sorcery, because like I said, played it again last weekend during my trip with my buddies, long weekend during which we played board games, card games. We played sorcery as well. Enjoyed it immensely. I always love looking at the cards, looking at the art. But if it's now very collectible, that's a totally different story again. But Gothic, I asked around, and again, like I explained just now, take it with a grain of salt. It will be available eventually, even if it's not available now. The supply, the initial supply of Gothic seems to be pretty low. From what I hear, the supply is not to a level that we can confidently say, at least over here in Europe, that Gothic will be readily available. Have you secured your Gothic boxes yet? If not, I'm not here to plant any FOMO or to create any FOMO or whatever. I'm sure you will get some boxes. If you want to have a case, if you want to have 2 cases, whatever, it might be wise to at least pre-order some here or there. I know the White Rabbit Community Game Store has a nice package with playmat and with the precons and a Gothic box for a fair price. I know sorcerytcg.eu has pre-order up for Gothic out from the Netherlands, same as the Trolls of the Realm, I think, have a pre-order up for Gothic out of the Netherlands. Yoda's Data in Germany, I think, is a store that often has sorcery boxes. At least they did have in the beginning. So there are a couple of places over here in Europe where you can order confidently, which I would suggest you to do. because if you order at a store you don't have any experience with, then I would say don't do it. If you really want to play it safe, then the ones I just mentioned, I have good experiences with. And I know for a fact those guys will get some boxes at least. I don't know how many. But yes, for the rest, if you are a sorcery fan, you might have ordered before and you might already have your dedicated store you order from. But again, like I said, don't expect pellets over pellets. The price seems to be, I think, okay. I think we're at around 130 to 150 a box, depending on the amount you take, which is roughly the same as a beta box. So, or a beta box was. That seems to be the price point for sorcery. Let's hope we do not have the clumping going on in the boxes. Arthurian Legends, for me, wasn't the best experience opening it. Playing with it was kind of nice, like I said. Opening a couple of boxes to collect it, I had the same rares over and over again and the same uniques as well. So that was a bit not very satisfying. No unique foils at all in a case and these kind of things. So that was a bit weird. But it is what it is. Yeah, I would... let's cautiously say this. I would probably order Gothic in advance if you really want to make sure you get a case or a couple of boxes. And if you don't want to wait for a possible second wave. There is no talk about that. I haven't heard any rumors, but I'm 100% sure that if Gothic sells well and if the boxes are sold out, they will probably reprint this set because they don't have a lot going on for the next year, obviously, because Gothic is the one set a year, and then we might get reprints of this set, maybe in a second wave, maybe with a color correction as well, with the second and third wave of beta. You never know. Folks, if you are still here, I'm going to call this format now the Sorcery Sunday. I want to have more consistency in my videos because it's been a bit all over the place recently, but that's because my life has been a bit all over the place recently. I believe if we establish a certain moment, which for me the Sorcery Sunday is now on the channel, where you can expect sorcery content, I think it's good for you and I think it's good for me because I am happy to create a video at least once a week about sorcery, especially with Gothic coming up and coming out. Content-wise, I should be good. Then we got the Sorcery Con in Indianapolis next year. I saw that in February. It's my birthday in February, so you never know. I might tend to fly to the US. After a couple of years, I've not been to the US. There was times that I've been a couple of times a year for work as well. Not necessarily working there, but yeah, checking out events and these kind of things. But yeah, now I have not been for a while, so it would be cool. So yeah, there's a lot of sorcery stuff coming up I can talk about. But Sorcery Sunday seems like a good format. Let me know in the comments. With the code word Yoda, Sorcery Sunday seems like a good plan. Then you can expect a sorcery video from me every Sunday. And you know, Sunday evening, sit down, have a beer before the new week starts, or a wine, or a glass of water if you don't drink alcohol, which is totally cool as well. Props to you, honestly. And watch a sorcery video at the same time. For me, the European time will be 2200. That's when I release all my videos, and I think that might be a good thing to establish that on a regular basis. And I will do so with other series which are focused on other things throughout the week as well, so you know exactly on which weekday you can expect a video, and I will stick to that. Folks, let me know in the comments if you heard any rumors about the Gothic supply, if you already put in your pre-orders or not. I'm very curious. And let me know as well how much you pre-ordered. Did you pre-order a case? Did you pre-order 2 cases? I know there are people out there that pre-order like 50 cases and open them all and sell them. I don't know. Not for me. I intend personally, that's the better way to say this, to go for a case if I can financially. I hope I can. Expect the initial supply to be a little lower than you might be used to from Arthurian Legends and even beta now, because it's available now. Stay healthy, folks. Stay frosty. I'm looking forward to your comments about all these things, especially the Sorcery Sunday and how much you pre-ordered. I talk to you next time. Bye, folks.